I'm back with another episode on the 2013 Audi A5. It's got another issue, P025C, fuel pump control module short to ground. So is this a job that you can tackle yourself, or should you take it to a shop? Stick around and find out. All right, everyone, thanks for tuning in. Like I said in the intro, the Audi has an issue. So my son came in last night, and of course it was late on a Friday, and said there is a check engine light that came on. So I ran the VCDS and it came up with a code for the fuel pump control module. So given that it's a weekend and this is his primary driver, and that means he has to use our vehicles to get around, I needed to get this done as soon as possible. So unfortunately, I did not have time to go to my usual places like FCP Euro or ECS Tuning. So I ended up going to the dealer, and thankfully they had one in stock. This is not a cheap part. I ended up paying $400 for this, and they're about half price online. But I didn't have a week to wait, so I needed to get this done, and done quickly. So this is the part. Basically, it is just a control module that turns on the low pressure fuel pump. And you can see that this is a genuine Audi part. Now, there were some cheaper alternatives, and even some on Amazon, that would have been able to be delivered today or tomorrow. But quite frankly, when dealing with the fuel system, if this thing goes, your car dies. So if you're on the highway or even just going around town, when this dies, your car shuts off. And I don't want that happening to my son. So I would rather pay the extra money and have the peace of mind in knowing that I have a genuine Audi part. So this is one item that I needed to purchase. And this item I also purchased, and this I did get from Amazon, and you can kind of tell it was really cheap and it looks it. But what this is for is to get the lid off of the low pressure fuel pump, and that's because the low pressure fuel pump is in the back seat. So I've watched some other videos on this exact same job, and it is definitely something that can be done at home. But how difficult is it really, given the magic of video? The only problem is it is mid-April here in Raleigh, North Carolina, and it is over 90 degrees outside right now, and that car is directly in the sun. Because my 944 is on the quick jacks, I don't have any other room in the garage to get it out of the blazing sun. So I'm gonna get the doors open and maybe even put a fan next to it to try to air out that interior to cool it off a little bit so I'm not an absolute sweaty mess. All right, I've had the fan blowing in the interior for about 20 minutes. So now it looks like the first step in the process is you have to remove these covers for the child safety locks, and it looks like one of them is missing, but these supposedly you can just they just come right out. So step one, pull these out, and then these here, from what I understand, you can just squeeze them together, and somehow I'll push down and pull them out. I'm gonna put the camera down and see how hard it is to get these out. All right, that wasn't hard at all. You can see on the side here, you basically push it down and slide it right out. So this is a piece of cake. So I'm gonna get the remaining ones out, and then I can concentrate on getting this seat bottom out. So all four of those plastic thingamajigs are out. I have them over on the floor there. So now I need to get the seat out. And from what I have seen, there's basically two metal hooks that are attached on the bottom side of the seat, and they go into like a plastic receiver underneath. So there's one on the driver's side and one on the passenger side. And from what I've seen, that's all that's holding them in. And basically you just have to really give it a lot of oomph and kind of pull up on these, and they should unclip, and then the bottom seat just comes right out. You just have to pay attention to the seatbelt receptacles there. They go in those holes, so I got to make sure they don't get ripped out. So time to get this going. I'm going to try to set up the camera and see what it looks like, but no promises. All right, that was super easy. I didn't really even have to tug on it that much. And remember, this is what I was talking about. Here's that metal loop that is underneath, and it goes into this plastic receptacle here. So when I go to put it back in, I just got to make sure everything's lined up and push it down into that there. So I'm going to get this seat out, set it down, and there you can see is the access to the fuel pump. So I took the shop vac and at least vacuumed up any loose particles that were in here just to make sure that I get it a little bit more clean than it was. So under this panel with 3 Phillips head screws is the top to the low pressure fuel pump. Now the control module, from what I have seen, is fastened right here. Now these, you can't tell if they're metal, I think they're metal Allen head screws. You pull these out. Now the problem is there's not enough room to slide it out. And from what I've read online, some people say you actually have to try to drop the gas tank a little bit, or at least unbolt it some of the way so that you can drop the fuel tank enough to be able to slide the control module out. Now, I watched a video and it was on an A4, not an A5. The person in the video was able to just remove the round cap for the fuel pump, and that allowed them enough room to slide out the control module. I really hope I can do that on this car, because if I don't have to jack it up, it will be even that much more of a victory. But the first step is to get this cap off, and then I'll get my Allens to get these bolts out. This here, this doesn't even bolt down. This is the release mechanism for the rear seat backs, and you just kind of tuck it out of the way, I guess. But that should free up so it won't be getting in my way here. All right, so Phillips head screwdriver and then a couple of Allen head bits to get these bolts out. All right, so now it looks like I might be in luck. So if I get this cover off, and I'll show you the tool that I bought to be able to help remove it. It looks like all I have to do is remove this fuel line, these couple of plugs here, and then if I undo the bolts that hold in that control module, I think I might be able to get it out. So, situation update. I was able to get the lid off of the fuel tank. What I did not check was how full the fuel tank was before I removed that ring. So let this be a lesson. 1, if you have a full fuel tank, a lot of fuel is going to come out. 2, it doesn't help when the car is parked on an incline, especially towards the back of the car. So a lot of gas came out, so I'm going to be spending a lot of time hosing things off when I'm done. One other point, on the A5s with the fuel pump in, there is no way to get the module out. I had to take a set of pliers and basically bend up this flange, and was able to basically push the fuel pump down enough and pull the old, this is the old module here, pull it out, and I was able to get it out. And then when I get it back in, I will get this back into shape so that I can get the cover back on. I am no engineer, and I know they're very smart people, but to have this module, something that could fail and something that critical, to basically be in an inaccessible place is absolutely horrible engineering. It would have been extremely simple to have some sort of access to that module, but it is what it is. I'm sure they've corrected it on future models. So if you want to do this without dropping the fuel tank at least a couple of inches, you're going to need to remove the ring for the low pressure fuel pump, and you're going to need to bend up this metal and then bend it back down before the seat goes in. So I have the new module on, and you are going to need to remove these clips from the old module and put them on the new one so that when you put the bolts back in, it will have something to attach to, because you don't want this just rattling around on top of the fuel tank. So I am going to get these installed on this. I'm going to jam this back underneath, try to get it all fastened up, and then get that ring back on the fuel pump, and then get this thing buttoned up. All right, so everything is back in. The lid for the low pressure fuel pump is secured. I have the control module fastened in. As I had this bent up here, I was able to get my hand in underneath and align where the holes were and get those screws tightened in. So that's all good and secured. I have this all cleaned up and wiped down. I sprayed some cleaner in there to help get rid of some of the gas smell.
It stings the nostrils.
as well as I did spray water all up in here and let it run on the top of the gas tank for quite some time and cleaned everything up, and everything is all dry. I blew compressed air in there for quite some time as well, so I'm pretty confident that this job is almost done. I just need to get the lid back on, clean up all my tools, and then I'll start getting the seat back in. Okay, so the seat is back in. It goes in basically the reverse of removal. You just kind of slide it in. You just got to make sure that the seatbelt receptacles are through the holes. You get it pushed all the way back in and just push down pretty firm, and you can hear those metal loops click into the receptacles down underneath, and pop all of these child restraint trim pieces back in, and then this job is good and done. So no, the job wasn't done, because things don't work out like that for me. So basically, I installed the control module, put everything back together, including the rear seat, and went to fire up the car, and it started right up. And it ran for about 10 seconds. Then it shut off, and I checked the codes, and then it threw another code, and this time it was for the low pressure fuel pump itself. So I had to end up purchasing another fuel pump. And this time I did not go with a genuine Audi part, because on the FCP Euro website, a genuine Audi low pressure fuel pump was over $900. So I was able to get this Delphi unit from Rock Auto, and it cost me about $500. Now, given the time constraints for me to get that car back together and running so that my son could go to work without having to use mine or my wife's vehicles, I did not film the process of putting the low pressure fuel pump in. But if you saw from earlier in the video, it's just a matter of removing that lock ring, and you literally just pull the old fuel pump out. You're going to get gas everywhere if you have a lot of gas in the tank.
Dude, that smells like pure gasoline.
Unplug it, plug in the new one, get it back in, and then try to start the car. This time I learned from my previous mistake and tried to start it before I got everything put back together. It still didn't start, so I was about ready to lose my mind. So I ended up plugging back in the original fuel pump control module. The car started up. I could actually hear the fuel pump priming, and it ran, and I let it run for a solid 5 minutes without a hiccup. So I left the original fuel pump module in the car with the brand new fuel pump, and it has now been about a week and a half, and there have been no issues whatsoever. So what really has me confused is, why didn't it work with a new fuel pump and a new fuel control module? And the only thing that I could see is, because that car is a 2013, it needs to be programmed to the ECU. And I could have probably done that through the VCDS, but quite honestly, I was able to return that brand new fuel module and get my $400 back from Audi. So as long as that car is running great with the original control module and that brand new fuel pump, I'm going to leave it as it is. And if I get another code for the fuel pump module again, I'll end up buying a new one, and hopefully this time I will be able to order a cheaper one online, still being genuine Audi, and then I will go through the steps of programming it, so hopefully it will start and run. So that's going to do it for this video on the 2013 Audi A5. I replaced the fuel pump control module, only to find out that a brand new one didn't work. I ended up replacing the fuel pump, and it now runs flawlessly. So if this video helped you out, or you enjoyed it at all, I'd appreciate it if you give me a thumbs up. It really helped me out. And please consider subscribing if you haven't already. And also hit the notification bell so you can be alerted on the next time I upload a video on that A5 or any of my other project vehicles. So I appreciate you all hanging around till the end of this video, and I'll catch you on the next one.